Yo, Caleb, I'm back with some questions. I got 10 questions. Mobile businesses, what to know.
Please, let's go.
So when it comes to mobile businesses, what first made you decide to build a mobile business instead of a traditional brick and mortar?
For me, it just kind of made sense. Like, not everybody has the need for a brick and mortar, but people need the space for an office. For me, it's like the most functional use of, if you're gonna invest time and money into something, make it something you can own, and then make it something that performs in multiple different ways for you.
Okay, going off of that, what is the very first mobile unit you built? And what would you do differently now if you could go back and redo some stuff?
Honestly, because she's local and I've seen her pretty regularly throughout the 2 years that it's been working, there's not much that I'd really change aside from like, now I'm a better craftsman, so I can like execute better. But the first mobile office we ever built was a mobile massage studio. And she was tired of her brick and mortar and she wanted to like give more flexibility and freedom, so she decided to turn an old shuttle bus into a mobile massage studio. And now she drives around town, gives people massages at their house, but then also she can park it at her house if she wants the clients to come to her. So now she kind of like opened up this opportunity for herself of staying at the house and having a work from home life, but then also giving a new feature to her clients of going to them.
Man, speaking of flexibility, is this a mobile office right now? What are you working on?
No, this is actually a cool project that's new to us. It's a 1971 camper. Here, come check it out. So similar to a mobile office, this is gonna be a mobile matcha tea trailer. It's going to Charleston, South Carolina, and it's a 1971 vintage camper that we've completely regutted, took it completely down to the studs, and we've rebuilt it. We're a couple days away from actually delivering it to the client. But yeah, they're gonna drive around Charleston and set up and give teas and coffees outside of this trailer. But that's beside the point. Let's keep going with the questions.
Totally, here's another one for you. So how long did it take for you to take the idea of a mobile office and then turn it into an actual thing?
So fortunately for us, it's always the client's idea. They bring us their visions and their dreams, and then we're just the ones that execute on that in a way that we ask enough questions that qualify them to understand what they're wanting, and then we turn that into reality. So the first one we did was that mobile massage studio, and I think like by the time she brought a bus to us, she was fully operating within like 3 months. I mean, that's the whole thing, from just a regular bus that showed up and we took out the seats, to then being comfortable that you can wash hands in the back of, you have air conditioning, you've got a nice inviting space, and she's driving around town 2.5 years later using this thing almost daily.
Wow, that's pretty quick. How do mobile businesses naturally create a better market opportunities for their customers?
There's a lot of different facets from it, but the part that is really simple is it's a business. So a business is designed to make money. So now you're just opening up the door of like different ways of doing that. It doesn't just have to be a mobile thing. It can just be something that you own, something that you can take pride in, that you can take care of. But then it also is something that gives you flexibility, that if you're deciding to move, you don't have to. Like for me, I have this shop. Like I am stuck to this general area and with this warehouse, and I can't go anywhere. But if I needed an office that I needed to set up like as a realtor or a contractor, then as jobs change, I can then take it to that site and I have everything I possibly need, and I just put it there. Whereas in the previous model, like you'd have to either rent something or build something, and then when you do those things, you don't own them. So with this, you own it, you can use it, you can depreciate it, and then also you can keep having it.
So question 5 I have for you, it kind of goes along with that. What are some common mistakes people make when designing their first mobile unit?
I don't think there's any like genuine mistakes. One thing that I think people don't fully understand, when you think about these spaces, they feel small in your mind. But then when you step into it in reality, it's a large space. I mean, like these offices that we're building that can go down the road and be parked in the woods and be fully self-sufficient are as large, if not larger, than most people's offices. I mean, like the average size that we've built is 8 feet by 16 feet. So you're getting just under 200 square feet of an office, and most people's guest bedrooms aren't that size. Most offices in a house aren't that size. You have enough space. I mean, in this standpoint, this one's only 12 feet long, and we've got like 1, 2, 3 spaces if we needed to set up computers in here, if this was an office. Yeah. It's a lot larger than what most people think, especially when they go to use it.
Yeah, talking about optimizing space, what are some features or upgrades that give a best return on investment?
One that comes to mind right off the bat is solar power. Solar power just gives you a new opportunity that you don't really know exists. The way I've explained it in the past is like when the house phone was attached to the wall and you had to like stay in the kitchen to have a phone call, you'd be standing in the kitchen for like 45 minutes, and then the cell phone came about, and then you could take that call outside, on the road, in the parks, like wherever you wanted. So you can then take your kids to the playground and still do some work, but then also you have the opportunity to go somewhere else. So solar power allows you to do that because you have power and all these features anywhere. You're not limited by a gasoline generator, you're not limited by a plug. You've got all the things wherever you possibly want to go.
So, okay, let's say hypothetically, I'm using this space during the summer months? You said this is going to be a matcha bar. I don't really see people drinking matcha in the winter, but maybe I'm wrong. That's my own personal thing. How can users use their mobile setup for lead generating tools even when they're not in operation? If this is going to live somewhere in the wintertime, do you think it could be used as maybe like a billboard or something like that to get business rolling still in the summer months?
Oh, completely. I mean, like, people put stickers on everything. You have this thing that's this large 12-foot by 8 feet tall billboard, and you park it in your driveway, you park it outside your shop. Even though it's not used, you're driving past and you see Mind Matcha. You're like, oh, that's a matcha thing. Like, you're sparking curiosity, which then puts remembrance in somebody's mind. So then, like, because it's not the normal business model of like a box truck with a billboard stamped on the side of it, it's something that's a little more unique and quirky that sparks interest that people will then think about more often. So that's one of the first things that come into mind as far as, like, I think I heard it the other day, it was like opportunity cost. Like, it's something that you can do or that opens up more opportunity by costing you nothing.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah. So this place looks really well put together. I see you have some trim up here. These lighting fixtures are really nice. What is a realistic budget someone should expect for high quality mobile builds?
That question gets tricky because you keep going. But to do a proper build out, you're gonna spend $50,000 or more on the build out, depending on the size. Like, this is gonna be cheaper because it's a lot more simple. We're not doing solar power, we're not doing AC, but the mobile offices and massage studios and kids classrooms and art studios, like, those things are gonna be a $50,000 investment on top of the vehicle, but it's also something that you own. And it's also something that opens up more opportunity. You can write off and depreciate. It's also a new market of business. People are interested in that mindset, and you can charge a different rate because of it. For me to have to drive across town in Nashville to go get a massage is like an hour-and-a-half detour. But I'd rather spend 25 or 50 bucks more for them to come to me and do that rather than me have to worry about all this traffic.
Yeah. Talking about a new market, have you seen some of the clients that you've worked with expand their business faster having a mobile instead of a fixed place?
Oh, completely. The best example I have is I have this one client that's local. He is the marketer for developments. So he sells neighborhoods. And instead of him renting a pod or renting a trailer, like a Will Scott trailer, and waiting for infrastructure to get set up, waiting for that thing to get delivered, waiting to have that foundation set, he was like, you know what, let me have something instantly. Let me have something today. What does that look like? And he had the idea of turning a trailer into a mobile office. As soon as he got the contract for that development, he was there with his office and salespeople representing that neighborhood from day one. So the first one, it was such a good investment for him that he sold 90% of the lot within like the first 3 months, and he wanted another one within 9 months. So now we've done 2 mobile offices for him, and they've executed so well that he's like, you know what, this is the best use of my money, and it allows me to be the first one out the door because I'm already there. He's not waiting for these things.
In the next 5 years, where do you see mobile businesses going? Could you see everything being on the road, or do you think we still need a balance of brick and mortar and mobile businesses, or just what do you see?
We're always gonna need brick and mortar. Like my use case right now, like I have this big warehouse and I don't have an office in my shop, but I am renting this space, so I don't want to build out an office because that's going to be 50 grand. So I want to build my own office in a shuttle bus or in a box truck and put it here and park it here and use it as an office. So that way when my lease is up and I need a bigger space, that investment that I just spent isn't just stuck in this building. I can then take it with me to the new location and I own it. And it's my space, it's what I'm using. So I think more people are going to be tired of like the renter mentality when it comes to leases and the investment side of that. But then also everything is now going mobile. I mean, like, food trucks is not a new thing, it's a standard now. Mobile dog grooming is not a new thing, it's a standard now. Like, working remotely is not a new thing, it's a standard now. Like, having new opportunities and new flexibilities is what people are interested in. I can either go sit in my truck at a construction site, work on my phone and my laptop, or I can then just buy a mobile office and sit in a nice space, and then I'll use that space as a studio for my clients to come in and have conversations there, rather than, hey, meet at my office in town and then we're gonna go to the job site. Like, we could just do it all there. It's gonna cost the same amount, but it's gonna open up more flexibility, more comfort, more development. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a new baseline.
Well, dude, that's all the questions I got. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. I'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you don't. And if you could subscribe, we'd really, really appreciate it. And we're gonna keep doing a lot of these, so yeah, follow along.